Harambee! Neno hili si hivyo, mambo ni matatu.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome back to our channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that the video is going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine, as you can see. Kisumu is fantastic, and maybe you could also let me know where you are watching the video from, the county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. Ladies and gentlemen, a few weeks ago on this platform, I did a video. And in that video, I opined that Rigathi Gachagua will be on the ballot in 2027 as a presidential candidate. That video caused huge political storm on this channel because I had explained that because Rigathi Gachagua would be on the ballot, William Ruto was going to be re-elected easily again. I remember some people even unsubscribed from the channel because they couldn't imagine Rigathi Gachagua running for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you this question. Is there anything which can stop Rigathi Gachagua from running for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya in 2027? Is there anything? Nothing.
I have seen some reports by KTN sponsored by the National Intelligence Service. Oh, wamekubaliana na huyu. We have not settled on anybody, and it's not it. Hiyo tumekubaliana.
And should Rigathi Gachagua decide to run for the presidency, that's how William Ruto is going to be re-elected. You take it, you leave it. That's a fact. Because on this channel, what we analyze are facts. Ladies and gentlemen, Rigathi Gachagua yesterday addressed Kenyans while in the US. And in his address to Kenyans there, Rigathi Gachagua made it very, very clear that he is the front runner for the opposition in 2027. The truth is, as things stand today, Rigathi Gachagua is the front runner in the opposition. Tell me anybody who can actually defeat Rigathi Gachagua in the opposition if they were even to decide now to vote for the preferred presidential candidate from the opposition. That is a fact. And because of that, Rigathi Gachagua will be on the ballot.
I'm a front runner, and I think I have the best chances to be president. Tumesema kila mtu aende atafute kura zake. Kila mtu asanye zake. Pale mwisho, next year, hapo after Christmas, tuketi. Tuweke kura kwa meza, tupige hesabu, tuulizane nani atapeperusha bendera as one candidate only against William Ruto. We have not settled on anybody, and it's not it. There is only one thing that has been agreed on one time. Government is huge. There is space for everybody. And we'll agree who takes what position, provided we come up with a formula.
In this video, I want us to look at two things. The first thing I want us to look at is why Rigathi Gachagua is actually the front runner and can give William Ruto a run for his money. And number two, why William Ruto will easily defeat Rigathi Gachagua should he run. Before you do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two. Click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, Cleophas Malala, the Secretary General of DCP Party, was on Citizen TV, listening to Malala.
So when you look at the Rome Statute, Article 66, presumption of innocence. You know, everyone shall be presumed to be innocent until proven guilty before a court of law.
Yeah.
And the matter of Rigathi's impeachment is still being adjudicated in court. Mm-hmm. If Rigathi Gachagua case finds him guilty or finds him that the process of impeachment was duly executed, then he will not run for, he does not qualify to run for any office. But as it stands right now, Rigathi Gachagua qualifies to run for any office because until he is proven guilty and he has exhausted all the appeal mechanism, he still enjoys the rights under the Bill of Rights, just as any Kenyan, to vie for any office. And therefore, as he said in the US, you know, when you start leading a political movement, you start by campaigning for yourself. It would have been wrong for Rigathi Gachagua to be in the US and say that Eddie qualifies or Eddie is the front runner. He has gone to the US to sell for his candidature and to mobilize people behind his political movement. And therefore, just like any other Kenyan, and who believes in his ideologies, he starts by saying that he qualifies. And I am the second Kenyan who says that Rigathi Gachagua is a front runner.
The truth is, Rigathi Gachagua is currently the front runner because of several reasons. Number one, the main one, is the game of numbers. Politics is a game of numbers, real or perceived. If you are to look at the real numbers, Rigathi Gachagua has it in the name of the mountain. If you look at perceived, Rigathi Gachagua has the perceived numbers. Why? Because he's the one who is currently giving William Ruto trouble. Why do you think Rigathi Gachagua is playing the politics of shares? In his address yesterday in the US, Rigathi Gachagua was very clear that he's actually willing to forfeit his bid if that will allow someone else to defeat Ruto. How will you determine the person who can defeat Ruto? Game of numbers. Will they be able to bring those numbers? And Rigathi Gachagua was very clear that Kalonzo ameenda Ukambani kuconsolidate, Matiangi kuconsolidate, all these others. And then they'll bring those numbers on the table. Rigathi Gachagua will be starting with over 4 million. For Kalonzo to convince them, he will have to come with a Kamba vote, which I think is 1 point something, then convince them that he can top up those numbers. Because for Rigathi Gachagua, with those numbers, he can easily argue that he's only looking for some 2 million votes somewhere, or 3 million votes, which he can easily get perceptionally. So because of game of numbers, he is up there. Number two, Rigathi Gachagua can easily raise funds. The kind of reception the mountain has given Rigathi Gachagua in the mountain, in the US, is a clear testimony that they're actually willing to fund Rigathi. The truth is, Matiangi was in the US. The Kenyans down there are raising money for him, which is a fact. But the person who has the goodwill is none other than Rigathi Gachagua. So he can easily raise money. Even locally here, Kikuyus will be willing to raise funds for Rigathi Gachagua because their businesses are suffering. That's what they believe. The Kikuyu billionaires will be willing to fund Rigathi Gachagua. So he has that ability of raising the money. 2027 presidential elections is going to be the most expensive election in the history of the Republic of Kenya. So because of that, he is a front runner. Kalonzo cannot move because he doesn't have money. Number three, his ability to take William Ruto head on. Currently, most Kenyans are dissatisfied with William Ruto. Raila Odinga, whom they expected to deal with William Ruto, is now working with William Ruto. Then Rigathi Gachagua came on board and filled that gap. In fact, Kenyans have been asking themselves, where was Rigathi Gachagua before? Kalonzo has not managed to do that. Matiangi has not managed to do that. Because of that, he's up there. And number four, Rigathi Gachagua has perfect communication skills. I watched how Rigathi Gachagua responded to William Ruto, to William Ruto's speech the other day. That was genius.
It is not possible to improve most of your programs. Your biggest program is lying. William Ruto, I have seen when you were in Machakos, you have said that the opposition have no policy, have no sera, and you need to know how they will improve on your policies and your programs. Mr. President, it is not possible to improve most of your programs. Your biggest program is lying. We obviously cannot improve on it. We want to bring a new government to put an end to lying. Mr. President, your legacy is abduction. How can we improve on abduction? We shall bring an end to abductions. Mr. President, your other big legacy is killing young children. How can you challenge us to improve on killing young children?
And importantly, the Nairobi politics. There is no way you can become the president of the Republic of Kenya without Nairobi. William Ruto became the president of the Republic of Kenya in the last election because he also had Nairobi in the name of the Kikuyu or the mountain. The mountain left William Ruto. As we speak, Ruto is banking on the Luos and the Luyas, which will help him play the Nairobi politics. For Matiangi to succeed, he must get the support of Nairobi, which means Rigathi must support him. If Rigathi cannot support him, he must get the support of the Western Alliance. For Kalonzo Musyoka, there is a good number of Kambas in Nairobi. But even as we speak today, there is no Kamba. I think there's only one Kamba elected MP in Nairobi. So facts are, Rigathi can command Nairobi. And because he can command Nairobi, he can easily raise enough aspirants in Nairobi, both governors, MP, Senate, MCS, enough of them in Nairobi. That will be enough for him. And because of those factors, Rigathi Gachagua is actually up there. But should Rigathi Gachagua decide to run for the presidency, he will give William Ruto a hard time. But William Ruto will smile all the way to bank. William Ruto will be re-elected easily. Why? Number one, Rigathi Gachagua has refused to rebrand himself into a national leader. So far, his tribal politics is fine for him because there is no way, politics is local, there is no way Rigathi Gachagua can become powerful without the backing of his community. So the expectations was that Rigathi was going to rebrand. In fact, at some point, after he was impeached, at some point, Rigathi Gachagua went and started rebranding. I don't know what happened. So he's a tribal leader. What does that mean? It simply means that most Kenyans, if they were to go to the ballot and they find Rigathi versus any other candidate, they will not vote for Rigathi Gachagua. Especially those who are yet to decide. Unless they will be having some compelling reasons to support Rigathi Gachagua. Number two, Rigathi Gachagua is not new in government. What Kenyans need is a complete change or shift. Rigathi Gachagua worked with Moi. Rigathi Gachagua worked with Uhuru. Rigathi Gachagua worked with William Ruto until he was removed. So how can Rigathi Gachagua convince Kenyans who never voted for Ruto that Ruto is bad while he was the lead defender? I'm talking about those who never voted for Ruto. Those who voted for Ruto and are dissatisfied with Rigathi Gachagua will see Rigathi Gachagua as a hero and they'll easily rally around him. What about someone in Siaya who was there when Azimio were protesting and Rigathi Gachagua would wake up very early in the morning to go and deal with them ruthlessly? Several bodies were transported these sides during those protests, Azimio protests. We are not even talking of the last election. Rigathi was deeply in government. he was commanding. He would wake up at 5 a.m. to go to the office to do one thing: direct attacks. And because of that record, it's going to be very difficult for Rigathi Gachagua to convince people who never voted for Ruto that he can solve their problems. In fact, if you talk to most people, especially those who are formerly in ODM, including the ones in Wiper today, they'll tell you Rigathi is not a very good option for them. And of course, we all know that Mount Kenya alone cannot make Rigathi the president. So if we are to give those people Ruto and Rigathi, they'll easily go for Ruto. And that is what Ruto is praying for. Ruto is praying for a Rigathi Gachagua candidature. Number 3, Rigathi Gachagua is a very good politician, perfect in terms of communication. But his brand of politics is divisive, abrasive. You know, you can be firebrand without being divisive and abrasive. Take the case of Susan Kehika and the husband. How Rigathi Gachagua was destroying them. These are people who can easily shift camp to Rigathi Gachagua because politics, no permanent enemies. The other day, I gave you the example of Uhuru Kenyatta and Moses Kuria. These are people who can easily work with Rigathi. But Rigathi Gachagua's brand of politics is causing fear in them. And lastly, William Ruto will be laughing all the way to the bank because it would be easy to rally Kenyans against Rigathi Gachagua. It would be easy just to convince a Kenyan that Rigathi, you know, someone like myself, let me give you my example. I really love Rigathi Gachagua's brand of politics so much. But sometimes I find it very difficult to reconcile with the fact that my friends were almost getting eliminated during Azimio protest. You remember the day the communications vehicle of Raila was hit? Ruto was out of the country. Rigathi Gachagua woke up very early to go and deal ruthlessly with those people. The young men and women in that communication vehicle, forget about Raila's car. Those are people I personally worked with. Some of them I mentored. And some of them are scared today, I'm telling you. Because they were almost getting eliminated. The person who was doing that was Rigathi Gachagua. So there's no way you can convince me that if you give Rigathi Gachagua power today, he will be different with William Ruto he's accusing today. Personally, I believe he can even be worse. Because at least for William Ruto, he's hiding. Ruto is hiding behind some, independence of the police, hiding behind a lot of things. Rigathi personally was there very early in the morning, mixing police chiefs on how to deal with our supporters. There was massacre. Kondele. Nyalenda here. At night. Nyalenda here. Just how many meters from here to Nyalenda? 200 meters from where I am to Nyalenda here. Rigathi was in charge at that time. You can't convince me. Yeah? So there are so many people who will find it very difficult if you are to give them Rigathi and Ruto. They rather abstain. So it's going to be easy for Ruto to actually rally Kenyans against Rigathi. But his politics is good so far. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.